morning, everyone. I'm Sydney Aristivo, and welcome to Regis News. First on our agenda, back in September, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was faced with a major scandal regarding the closing of the lanes of the George Washington Bridge in Fort Lee, New Jersey. It is believed by many that the lane closings were an intentional act against Fort Lee due to the fact that Fort Lee's Democratic mayor, Mark Sokolich, did not endorse Christie's 2013 gubernatorial election. This scandal has overshadowed Christie's potential 2016 presidential campaign. Recent polls depict Christie's decreasing popularity, with this scandal as the main source of reasoning. However, in a recent conference from late April, Christie stated that if he had known about the lanes closing, he would have stopped it. And now, here's a clip with related information.
A contrite Chris Christie publicly apologized for his administration's involvement in a politically motivated scandal involving the partial closing of America's busiest bridge.
I am embarrassed and humiliated by the conduct of some of the people on my team. There's no doubt in my mind that the conduct that they exhibited is completely unacceptable and showed a lack of respect for their appropriate role of government and for the people that we're trusted to serve.
That lower level, look at that.
For 4 days in September, abrupt and unexpected lane closures on the George Washington Bridge that links New Jersey to New York City and carries some 300,000 vehicles on a typical day brought traffic to a standstill. Governor Christie had denied charges he or his team ordered the closing to punish Mayor Mark Sokolich of Fort Lee, New Jersey, for refusing to support his bid for re-election.
Who in their right mind would close down access to the busiest bridge in the world to send me a message?
But recently released emails from one of the governor's aides confirmed his team's involvement. The governor said he did not know and was not involved, but takes responsibility for those who authorized the closure of traffic lanes at the bridge. He has fired one aide and withdrawn support for his former campaign manager to become the state's Republican Party chairman. The popular governor and likely Republican candidate for president also denied that he engages in vindictive and petty political retribution.
Because I am who I am, but I am not a bully. And what I will tell you is that the folks who have worked with me over a long period of time would, I believe, tell you that I'm tough, but I've shown over the last 4 years in the tone that we've set here that I'm willing to compromise, that I'm willing to work with others.
Governor Christie said he will cooperate with the state assembly investigation into the bridge scandal and will conduct his own internal review. Brian Patton, VOA News, Washington.
And that's why I'm giving it to them.
Well, what do you guys think? Tweet at Regis News and tell us your opinion of this New Jersey scandal. And we'll be back after this break.
Yes, I understand the fact that being made out of delicious chocolate makes me high risk for insurance companies, but I still believe I deserve coverage. And furthermore, I have been here for 15 minutes, which means, well, you know.
Geico only insures humans. Insuring a delicious piece of chocolate, I'd lose my job for that. And then what would I do?
What? Guess what day it is?
Save it, hump boy.
Welcome back. Well, Republicans, is it possible we have a representative for the 2016 presidential election? Governor Paul Ryan is being considered the Republicans' strongest option, if he wants it, that is. The Wisconsin native isn't even positive he wants to run for the election. However, recent polls depict the evidence of his extreme popularity amongst Republicans. With his presidential election experience from being Mitt Romney's running mate in 2012, Ryan is perceived as a strong contender for this upcoming election. And now, here's a video centered on Paul Ryan.
Already there's a new survey that says Hillary Clinton is favored to win the Iowa caucuses in 2016. I think they could have at least waited till we peeled the I voted stickers off of our jackets. So to summarize, a woman who has not yet expressed any interest in running is well ahead of some other people who aren't running. Good study.
I guess it's never too early. Lighthearted lightning round right now. Congressman Schock, who are you going to be watching most closely the next 4 years, and where are you on the Hillary versus Biden 2016?
Well, first I'd say anybody who travels to Iowa that doesn't represent Iowa is self-identifying themselves as a potential candidate. I think Marco Rubio, who's headed there, is leading the pack. Marco Rubio, Paul Ryan certainly is a VP nominee. You guys got like Bobby Jindal. Certainly, if Chris Christie wins re-election, he'd be in that pack. Biden versus Hillary. I'd have to have my money on Hillary. I don't think Biden did himself any favor in the VP debate.
I don't know. I'm a Biden fan. I'm a Hillary fan, and I'm just going to wait, at least for a little while. And I will wait to peel my I voted sticker off.
Okay, Greta.
I think you should keep your eye on Governor Susana Martinez out of New Mexico. She's a Republican in a Democratic state. She handled their deficit problem. She was against, she came out against something that Governor Romney said, the self-deportation, and so she was sort of on the outs a little bit with some Republicans. But I would keep my eye on her over Senator Rubio because she's a governor.
Speaking as a journalist, I'm a Biden man. I like Joe provides great copy. On the Republican side, I think that if Jeb Bush runs, I think he has to be the favorite.
Last word, Katrina, quickly.
For those of us with election fatigue, could we just start doing some governing?
There we go. A good plea to end on. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Fantastic roundtable.
Tweet at Regis News telling us if you would like to see Paul Ryan as the next president of the United States or not. And now, our very own Bryn Bartiromo interviewing one of Fairfield University's favorite politics professors, Dr. Greenberg.
Thanks, Sydney. We're here today with Dr. Donald Greenberg, a politics professor at Fairfield University in Donorama Hall. How are you doing today, Professor?
Doing fine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So we're just going to jump right into it. What is your opinion on Hillary Clinton running for the president in 2016?
Well, I think there are a couple of factors for her. She's certainly the strongest Democratic possibility. There's no other Democrat on the horizon who polls as well as her. I think her experience, both as First Lady, but more importantly as a Senator and then Secretary of State, make her eminently qualified. And I support her attempt to run, and of course it would be historic to be the first woman, if she's successful, to be elected President of the United States.
Right, very interesting. And to go along with that, what is your opinion on Paul Ryan potentially being the Republican nominee?
Well, I've been saying for over a year that I believe Paul Ryan will be the nominee. He's tried to position himself to be slightly more moderate. He supported the bill along with Speaker Boehner on keeping the government from defaulting. He's again come out with a budget which is very popular with Republicans, although not with Democrats. He's a strong candidate. He has good name recognition. I have believed for a long time that he'll emerge as the Republican nominee, yes.
Very good, very good. So let's start talking about Obama and specifically Obamacare. Do you think that Obamacare is working?
Well, it's ridiculous for people to even ask that at this point in time. The Affordable Care Act has been in place really for less than 3 months. It really came online January 1st. It's had about 8 million people sign up. We have no idea yet how those really break down in terms of what is needed. So I think there are some very strong things in the Obama plan, the most important being that no one can be denied coverage because of a pre-existing condition. The fact that children now can be covered to 26. That this at least gives people the impression that health care is available for everyone. Those are all very strong attributes of the Obama plan. But whether or not it's working, we'll need at least 5 years before we can really tell that.
Right.
But I think so far it's shown great promise.
Very good. Thank you. So just speaking about leaders in general, in your opinion, do you think a leader is more successful or favorable when people fear them or when they are respected?
Well, in a authoritarian society, it's fear. There's no question. But in a democratic society, it's not fear, it's respect. Because in a democratic society, they have to come up for election, they can be turned out of office. So you're not going to get people to obey you in a democratic society because they fear you. They will obey you if they respect you and believe that your programs and your statements are going to benefit either them personally or the country. So I think you have to split that. Democratic societies, it's respect. Authoritarian societies, it's fear.
Right. Interesting. Thank you. Now, recently, Michelle Obama has been seen on the TV drama Nashville. Do you think it's appropriate for the First Lady to be seen on a TV drama, and how do you think that that connects with the effects media has on.
This is a fascinating question, and it's one actually that I'm doing research on. For many, many years, popular television, radio first, and then television, movies would not show a president. It was considered disrespectful. But starting with the beginning rise of, and really it's Bill Clinton that started it, when he appeared on MTV, when he played the saxophone on the radio, when he was the first candidate, I believe, to be shown without wearing a tie. And so we now have evolved, so presidents have now begun to do this, although it's true that Richard Nixon appeared on Laugh-In, a satirical comedy show many, many years ago, well before even Clinton. And so now it's become custom place. President Obama appeared on Between Two Ferns, which is a social media satirical show. Michelle Obama and others have appeared many times now on talk television. So to make a cameo appearance on a television show like Nashville, which itself is pretty apolitical, I think no longer raises any hackles. Is it a good thing? I'm not sure it's a good thing, because when you popularize the office, you do to some extent reduce the respect of the office and the majesty of the office. So I'm not sure that we're benefiting from it, but the fact that she has done it now means nothing, because it's been done so often in the last 20 years.
Very interesting. Well, thank you so much for your time, Professor.
More than a pleasure.
Being here. Thank you. And now back to you, Cindy.
Thanks, Bren. And on another note, Republican Congressman Michael Grimm was arrested on April 28th with 20 counts of fraud. The 20-count indictment includes 5 counts of mail fraud, 5 counts of wire fraud, 3 counts of aiding and assisting in the preparation of false federal tax returns, 1 count of conspiring to defraud the United States, 1 count of impeding the Internal Revenue Service, 1 count of healthcare fraud, 1 count of engaging in the pattern or practice of hiring and continuing to employ unauthorized aliens, 2 counts of perjury, and 1 count of obstructing an official proceeding. The charges are all related to Grimm's position as the owner and managing member of a restaurant in Manhattan called Healthalicious from 2007 to 2010. He's been charged with engaging in schemes to underreport his workers' wages, many of whom did not have legal status, as well as the amount of money the restaurant earned to both New York State tax and insurance authorities, the Justice Department said. Grimm is charged with concealing over $1 million in sales and wages in total, as well as lying under oath about his business practices when he was deposed in 2013. If convicted, Grimm would face up to 20 years in prison for each mail and wire fraud and for the obstruction charge, up to 10 years in prison for the health and care fraud charge, and up to 5 years in prison for the charges of conspiring to defraud the United States and for each perjury charge. He would face up to 3 years in prison for each charge of aiding and assisting in the preparation of a false fraudulent tax return, and for the charge of obstructing and impeding the due administration of the Internal Revenue laws, and up to 6 months in prison for engaging in patterns or practices of hiring and continuing to employ unauthorized aliens, as well as forfeiture, restitution, and fines. Although he has been indicted, Grimm will not lose his rights or privileges as a member of Congress, according to a report by the nonpartisan Congressional Research Service, cited by the Associated Press. When he spoke to reporters Monday, Grimm said, "I don't abandon my post," and pledged to stay in his job. What do you guys think? Should Grimm be convicted for his actions? Tweet us or comment on our Facebook with your opinions. That's tonight's segment. I'm Sydney Aristivo. Thanks for joining us.